How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Two Bros Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Smith, and I'm here with my brother and co-host, Dakota Smith. How you doing today, Dakota?
Did enjoying some football. Took some time away from the football to do this, but gotta watch Josh Allen just go absolutely crazy on the Steelers. That was
Bizarre.
that was incredible. Saw three different games in that window. They went away from the Buffalo game. They went to the Chargers and Browns. That was a good game. That ended early. Then I got to see the end of the Titans and Commanders, which ended in a Carson Wentz interception. So nothing
Shocker.
shocking. Nothing shocking there. But
Yeah, Josh
no,
Allen had an absolute field day.
yeah, he did. He tore apart that Pittsburgh defense isn't bad, and he tore them apart. I'm
Yeah,
terrified as a Chiefs fan because they play next week.
yeah. The NFL's had a good day so far, but that's not what we're here for.
Nope.
We're here for the Southeast Division here in the NBA today, and that includes the Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, Miami Heat, Orlando Magic, and Washington Wizards, and we will go over them in that order here for the Eastern Conference. So the first team, the Atlanta Hawks. First thoughts here, looking at the roster for this upcoming season.
I like it. I love the Dejounte Murray pickup. I think that completely transforms this team. That gives you another ball handler that allows you to play Trey Young off the ball. I could
Yeah,
see him more starting to form into more like the way Curry plays off ball. I could see that a lot now with Trey Young because Dejounte Murray, great ball handler, great passer, great defender. I think that's the side of the ball he's really going to help this team. He's a great defender at the guard spot, and then up and down, Capella holding down the middle, John Collins, Onyeka Okongwu. I want to see him do something this year. I like Bogdanovich. He'll come off the bench. He's a nice spark. DeAndre Hunter, who they drafted out of Virginia 2 years ago, I think. He's talented. This is a pretty good Atlanta team that I think could make some noise. Maybe not. It depends what you think of the rest of the Eastern Conference, how far you think Atlanta will go.
yeah. I like the main thing for me this year for this backcourt. I like the whole team, but it's the backcourt specifically for me. It's Trey Young. I mean, he can give you 30 a night, and it's simple. He can. He may have an off night here and there, a little bit inconsistent with the shooting, but he averaged 28 last season with 10 assists, basically, 4 rebounds. But the thing is, bringing in Dejounte Murray, I think is such a big pickup because he just overrides Trey Young's weakness, which is defense. He overrides it. They both can score. Trey Young's gonna be the better scorer. He's gonna score more, but he completely just eliminates that weakness there, basically. And Trey Young's not gonna have to guard Steph Curry. He's not gonna have to guard Kyrie or Lillard. Like that's what they brought him in for. They brought him in for that exact reason. And he averaged 2 steals last season in 68 games played, Jonte Murray. So he is he's gonna be that defensive machine in that backcourt. And then
Yeah,
good.
I really want Collins to stay healthy. He's had problems with
Yeah.
that, and he missed 28 games last year. I mean, they were fine without him, but like you need him to be healthy because he struggled with it the last 2 years, I believe. He's struggled with injury, and he's a different play. That this team's different when John Collins is on the floor. But
Yeah.
I liked the addition of Capella when they did that, and I love, like you said, Dejounte Murray is a game changer for this team. I think that could be what puts them over the hump and allows them to win this division.
Yeah. Yeah. I John Collins, I'd love to see him healthy, but and you look at like the small forward position here. Like you have DeAndre Hunter, you have Jalen Johnson. They're both younger. I like Okongwu. Um, I like Jarrett Culver even. We just talked about John Collins. I love Clint Capella as a center. He defends that paint for them, and trust me, he defends it well. I don't care. He's 6'10". He's a shot blocking machine. And Bogdanovich, you know, I mean, he's that spot up shooter. Honestly, he I think he'll play the three. I think they're gonna go Trey Young, Dejounte Murray, and they'll flip flop the one and the two. Because, like you said, I absolutely can see Trey Young playing a lot more off ball this season, like Curry does. most of the time when you could consider Curry like the 2 guard. And then I would go Bogdanovich, I would go John Collins as long as he's healthy, and then I go Clint Capella, and this team is dangerous. I mean, this team is someone who can legitimately make a run, in my opinion.
I have one disagreement. I think DeAndre Hunter starts. I think defensive purposes. I think that's why he starts. So I'd prefer DeAndre Hunter over Bogdanovich, and you leave Bogdanovich at the sixth man, and you let him come off the bench and be that spark. But other than that, no, I agree. I think Young, Murray, and then Hunter, Collins, and Capella.
Yeah, they brought it the AJ Griffin too this year through the draft.
They drafted out of Duke. Yep.
Yeah, so the young rookie there at the forward, he's 6'6". He's good at college at Duke. So I think this is a dangerous team. I think Nate McMillan can take this team far. And I mean, I think Trey Young's gonna average, if not 30 a night, it'll be pretty dang close. It'll be 28, 29 again this year. And especially with the off ball, like you said, I think that's gonna be a big part of their offense. So moving up forward here to the Charlotte Hornets. This one's a good one. It's a younger team in the Eastern Conference specifically. Obviously the standout here is LaMelo Ball, but you have James Bouknight. You just signed LiAngelo Ball. We'll have to see what he can do. We'll have to see if he'll even play this year. But personally, they're gonna trade for Lonzo, and they're just gonna have all three Ball brothers. And LeVar called it from the beginning, and it's that simple. LeVar called this from the beginning. I'm just saying.
I
He,
should
they
have knew.
brought in, they brought in. He said all three of them would make the league. Lamelo was like a freshman at the time, and he said this. Lonzo was a senior. I think Langelo was a junior. And well, here they are. Two of them have made it to the same team. I would not be surprised if they somehow at some point they're all three playing on the same team.
No, that's just it doesn't mesh well
They
system
meshed well in
wise.
high school.
Well, yeah, it did. That was one of the best high school teams ever. But now I'm not a huge fan of this team outside of I like LaMelo Ball. Gordon Hayward's getting up there in age. Oubre, you never know what you're gonna get. PJ Washington hasn't really panned out. They got Mark Williams out of Duke at the center position. Jalen McDaniels isn't bad, but the huge question mark is Miles Bridges going to play. All the off court issues he's having, I see that very unlikely that he plays.
Yep.
So that's a huge hit to this team, as he was one of their top players last year, and yeah, he was their leading scorer by a tenth of a point. But that's that's going to be a big blow, and that's going to be tough to replace production like that. And I just don't know where they're going to get that from. So I got them middle of the pack this division. I think they finish right in the middle. I think they're above the other two of the other three teams in this division. They're obviously below Miami, but I think they're still them and Washington are probably about even, and then they're better than Orlando. But I like Rozier, okay. Like, I don't see a whole lot yet. Give him another year or two and another pick. Because remember, they traded Jalen Duren. That's who they
Yep.
drafted, and they traded him to Detroit.
Yep.
And they got a lot for that, but I thought that would have been a perfect fit for them.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this team. They're just younger, and I think, like you said, give them a couple years because I love Lamelo Ball. He is, even though he's only 21, he's box office. I mean, he's a player to watch all year long. If there's a Hornets game on, and even if they're playing somebody bad, the odds are you're gonna turn on because of him. He is a flashy player. He's fun to watch. I like Book Knight. Like you said about the Bridges situation, we'll see how that pans out. Hayward, I wish he was back like in his prime. I like Kai Jones. They have Scotty Lewis. Cody Martin's a good role player. Jalen McDaniels, like I said, isn't horrible. Kelly Oubre, like you did say, he is, off and on. Depends on the night. Um, then you've got Rozier. You brought in Dennis Smith Jr. See what he can do, I guess. And PJ Washington, like you said, drafted Mark Williams. Like I don't know. I don't mind the team. I think I agree with you. They'll probably gonna finish mid pack of this conference or this division,
Yeah.
and maybe they can sneak into the play in. But we'll have to see what happens because the East isn't as I wanna say not as talented, but not as strong as the West. So we'll have to see what Charlotte can do.
Yeah, then you got Mason. Also, forgot to mention Mason Plumlee, who was their starting center last year,
Yep.
and I just I think they're gonna develop some depth this year. I think their bench could be good because I think they could that bench could surprise you. They have a lot of young guys on the bench. I'm interested to see who's going to play because like there's a lot of players in here who look very similar, and I really want to see how that bench develops. And but again, it's all good. I think a lot of this hinges on whether Bridges plays. Like I said, I don't think he does, and I think I said this for the Grizzlies and somebody else, but this team will go as far as Lamelo Ball will take this team.
Yeah, you said that for the Mavericks and the Grizzlies with John Luca, and I mean, I can agree.
Three very similar type players too. Like
They are. They're both
three
all 3.
very similar players.
Yeah, LaMelo had 27 and 8 last year. I mean, that's good stats for, like, I mean, he's not gonna be the guy who's gonna give you 30 a night, I don't think. I think if there's one thing out of this team that is missing, it is maybe that scorer who's gonna give you 25 consistently, who's gonna give you maybe 27 a night. But I mean, LaMelo Ball can do it, but he's just not that type of player to do it night in, night out and average those numbers. He's a triple double machine, but he is a playmaker.
I also want to clarify, I'm talking about their stat lines, not the actual players that they are, because we all know that Ja Morant and Luka Doncic are two very different players,
Yeah.
but they put up very similar stat lines. Like
Mhm.
all three of these guys can put up a triple double basically anytime they want to. Because all three of them can rebound, all three of them can pass, and all three of them can score. Like, but the question mark with all three of them will always be their defense. But
Yeah.
and I think that's where this Charlotte team is going to have issues. I think they're going to have problems defensively. I think this team could struggle on the defensive end. And in a division with Trey Young, that that could lead to some problems when if you struggle defensively. Because I think that Atlanta team is going to be really, really good on the offensive end of the floor.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think Charlotte's right in the middle. I think they're third in this division.
Yep. Heading to Florida, into Miami. It's the Miami Heat, and this team obviously in the finals when the bubble was around. Bubble is no more, and they haven't been the same in my eyes since. Um, I don't even know like why, but I don't know. I just don't think this team is the same as what they were in the bubble.
Well, obviously not, but they were they were still the one seed. I don't know if you remember, they were still the one seed in the East last year. Like they finished
I
53 and
know, but
29
they
last year.
just I don't
They had a
know.
better record than Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia. Like this is this is a
I feel
really
like
good Miami team.
it's one of those teams that is quiet but gets the job done and has like you just said at the end of the season they'll be the one seed. But for me, I don't know. It's just not. I don't know. I don't feel like it's the same team.
Yeah, well, Kyle Lowry's 36, Butler's 33. Like you're it's an older backcourt, and I
Yeah.
think and then I love like I've always been a huge fan of Bam Adebayo. I like him as a player. He's great on both ends of the floor. Hero's good off the bench. Duncan Robinson, obviously a pure shooter, but I don't. I think they maybe take a step back this year. I think we say that every year with Miami is that they're not going to be as good as they were last year, and then they prove us wrong. Like no, we're going to go out and we're going to be the one seed. No, I don't. They're not going to be the one seed in the East this year. No,
No.
there's too much talent in the rest of the Eastern Conference for this Miami team to be the one.
Yeah. I have no hate to Jimmy Butler or anybody on this team. I don't see this team succeeding. Like I don't see them being in the finals anytime soon. Like I think the bubble was a one-time thing, and I think it might have been because it was the bubble, and if the regular season kept going like how it was, it probably wouldn't have happened. I don't know. I don't think this team is as good, but obviously you still have Jimmy Butler. I mean, he's 33, like you said, Kyle Lowry's 36. Them two are aging. Bam's only 25. Um Udonis Haslam is literally a fossil. Um, Tyler Harrow, reigning six man of the year last year, and he agreed to a 4 year, $130 million contract just recently. So you have Nikola Jovic, the rookie. Um, you have Duncan Robinson. You have Oladipo. Hopefully, Oladipo can start shining again. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not a believer in this team this year.
I'm not either. I think that this. What am I trying to say here? I really think Atlanta wins this division. I didn't want to try to tip my hand yet, but I thought I might have at the very beginning. But I really think that Orlando or Atlanta, oh, yeah, that would be hilarious. But Atlanta finally jumps over Miami in this division. I just think it's time.
Yep.
Eric Spoelstra is a great coach, has been for a very long time, but
Yes.
I just think Atlanta finally has enough talent now that they're going to surpass them.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't see the Miami Heat being as good this year, and they'll make the playoffs probably, but I have no belief. Next team, Orlando Magic, and my goodness, it's Orlando. Like these next couple teams probably won't talk about as much because it's Orlando and it's Washington, and it's nearly the same thing every year. It's kind of like, oh well, lottery pick or better. Like,
Well,
so what do you think?
I think Orlando is a lottery pick away from being really good. Like
Yeah,
I think Bankero was a great move for this team, and I think he's somebody you can build a team around. I think Paulo Bankero is going to be great. Um, I like Cole Anthony. I want to see more out of him. Maybe if Jalen Suggs could stay healthy, that would
yes,
help a lot. That would help a
correct.
lot. I like Wendell Carter. They're good up front. Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba,
And
interchangeable
Bobo
pieces there at centers. Yeah, well, if he ever plays. Um,
and Morton.
have you heard anything on Jonathan Isaac?
I don't know.
Is
He
is
hasn't played a
he?
game in like 4 years.
It's
Like,
been forever since he's actually played a game. Yeah,
4 days ago it says he was day to day.
Oh, that's not a shocker. He's been day to day for he's, he's been that way for forever at this point. Like
I want him to stay healthy.
his last stats were from the 2020 season. So
That's
yeah, so
crazy.
didn't play 2021, 2020, 2021, didn't play 2021, 2022. It's God, I wanted because he had everything coming out.
He did.
6'10", 230, long, great defender.
Oh, he
This,
was gonna be one of the best defenders in the NBA, and I said it the moment he got drafted.
yeah, and he was starting to figure it out shooting wise. He was starting to score a little bit more. The last season he played 34 games. He averaged 2.3 blocks and 1.6 steals. Like that's ridiculous. Like they're a better team if he pans out. Like
Yeah,
we probably aren't talking about them as the team that had the number one pick, but they probably a 5 or a 6 pick if they have Isaac. I just I wanted him to pan out, and then they got R.J. Hampton in a trade with Denver. Um, they're gonna be in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes.
yeah, they are. But the thing is that this team is young,
Hmm.
and I like Cole Anthony. I like Mo Bamba. Their front court is nice. Mo Bamba, you have Paolo, Bobo, Wendell. You have Jonathan Isaac if he's healthy. Like, you have Morris Wagner. Like, I actually don't mind the team. It's just the fact that they're young, they're not experienced enough yet. There's one guy over 30. It's Terrence Ross. Like, this team in a I think maybe, 3, 4 years down the line can actually be dangerous if they can keep this core together and if people pan out how they should. And I don't care what anybody says, I think Paulo was the correct pick in that decision. I don't think it was Chet, and I don't think it was Jabari for Orlando. I think they made the right pick.
I do too. I think he's just a better fit. Uh,
Yep.
He can he's going to fit in well. I mean, obviously he's probably the favorite for rookie of the year between him and Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith, Keegan Murray, Jaden Ivey. I think those are probably your. I mean, obviously those are four out of the top five, excluding Chet Holmgren, who his poor foot is
Yeah.
out for the season. But yeah, I think they're going to struggle. Like, and you expect a team like this to struggle with as young as they are, but
Yeah.
2 or 3 more, give them 3 years, they can hold this core together. Franz Wagner was a guy who was good for him last year in spurts. I mean, Cole, he was their second leading scorer last year, ahead of Wendell Carter. There's a lot of promise in Orlando. I feel
Yep.
like that's been said before about the Magic, and then it never panned out. But I mean, it's talent. It's a young team. I'm not going to go as far as to say talented team yet, but they're a young team that has the potential to be a talented team.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of potential here. It's just a matter of who will pan out and who won't, and if they can stay all healthy and stay together as one. So moving to the Washington Wizards next. This might last 2 minutes or it'll last three. I mean, Washington, there's not much to talk about. I don't know why Bradley Beal's still here. If he wants to win something, he needs to leave, and he doesn't have much time left because he's only 20. He's 29. And once I mean, yes, this is his prime, but Bradley Beal has got to get out. This it's not gonna work here. I don't know what he sees. I don't want to say Bradley Beal's in it for the money. He wants to win games. He would love to win a championship, but it will not happen in Washington.
Yeah,
I refuse to believe it ever will.
he's not hurting. He's making $43 million this year. I think he's okay. But no, they got Monte Morris and Will Barton from the Nuggets. They got Porzingis in that trade last year. They picked up DeLon Wright from Atlanta, Taj Gibson from New York. They drafted Johnny Davis, number 10 overall. That pick confused me when you have a guy like Bradley Beal. Like that pick confused me a little bit because you basically the same. You drafted the same position. Johnny Davis is a two. Like I was kind of confused as to why they drafted him at the two. I mean, they still have Kuzma. They have Rui Hachimura. How are they gonna? Who are they? Who's this team start at the five? And please don't tell me it's actually They're actually going to start Porzingis at the five. Like,
Unless they start Maker
yeah, well, I don't
or
think they're going to
Gafford.
start.
Like
Gafford. There you go. It's Gafford. I
it,
missed.
it'll
They'll
it,
start.
I would assume
It'll
it'd
be
be Daniel
Gafford. Yeah,
Gafford.
I missed. I read right over his name, but yeah, Gafford will start at the five. But
I just don't know what they do. Because
I,
you're at power forward. I had called Porzingis before. You
yeah,
have
I do
Isaiah
too.
Todd, you have Porzingis, you have Rui Hachimura, and then at small forward you have Kuzma, who's 6'10", so he's a power forward for the most part. Um, I feel like they have a lot of power forwards on this team who can play, and Avdija he's 6'9", so I don't know. I don't know really what they're gonna do with the starting lineup. I couldn't tell you.
All right, I'm going to take my guess. I'm going to go Monte Morris, Bradley Beal, Kuzma, Porzingis, Gafford.
Yeah.
I think Monte Morris is a starting point guard in the NBA. He just needed to get out
Oh
of
yeah.
Denver.
He'll be a starting point guard.
I think he's
I
just,
it's not even another real point
and
guard on this
then,
team.
but then you look at the guys you're bringing off the bench. Then you're bringing Avdia off the bench. You're bringing Will Barton off the bench. Johnny Davis off the bench.
Yeah.
You're bringing Hachimura off the bench. DeLon Wright. Like, I mean, they should. They're good depth wise, but I just don't.
It's not enough.
I don't think they don't think it's enough. I think, yeah, Bradley Beal's great, but Porzingis has never been what everybody thought Porzingis was going to be when he
Oh,
was
well,
drafted.
then he got traded.
and then his career was over at that point.
Yeah, basically.
And I don't think he was a good fit in Dallas. I don't think that was a good spot for him. Maybe he revives his career here and the Wizards are somehow good. How far were out of the playoffs? No, they were 8 games out of the playoffs last year. They finished 2 games
The
behind New
play in
York.
or the playoffs?
The play in. Like they finished, yeah, they finished 8 games behind Charlotte, and then they were 11 games behind Chicago, who was the last like team that didn't have to play in. Chicago was the 6.
Um, I will spoil my conference prediction right now when we do them, but I legitimately will probably have Washington as 15th in the conference. I I think Indiana
Oh no,
will
no,
be
oh no, Indiana's
will be
bad. I think
yeah,
Indiana's
but
bad.
I don't know. I think Detroit's gonna be a lot better than last season. I think they actually can push for a
I
play-in.
I think I agree with you. I think Detroit will be
So,
really. I think Detroit's got a lot of
and I
potential.
think Orlando's better than Washington. So,
I do not think Orlando is better than Washington. I
I
do
just
not
see
think
enough.
that. I just don't think that's the case. I don't think Orlando is better than Washington.
I
Washington's
just
a more they're a more veteran team.
no,
They're
they're older. That's for sure.
yeah, and I think that benefits them.
Yeah, it's
I just
this
I
division
did
is
no
such a weird
no
one.
no I don't know I do not think they are good. I am not saying that by any means. I do not. Just to give you an idea, I put win totals in here. Yeah, their win total was 9 better than their over under for win total was 35 and a half. Orlando is 26 and a half.
Dang.
Like no, I don't think they're significantly better, but I think they're better than Orlando and Indiana at least. Like I do Detroit, we'll see when we do that division. I think that's actually the last division we're going to do. We only got 2 more
Yep.
left after this, but
Yes.
no, I think they're better than Orlando and definitely Indiana. I think Indiana's bad. I don't even have to look at that roster to know that Indiana is bad. I don't need
They're
to. They got rid of Sabonis and they got rid of Karis LeVert and they lost Malcolm Brogdon. That was their entire team.
yeah.
Like they're going to be that could be
They
where
will be in the
victory is
Chet
at.
Holmgren sweepstakes
You
or the
mean
Chet Holmgren, the
the
Victor
Chet? Oh.
Wembanyama, same player, same player. So,
Oh.
but this division is so boring to me. I think I
I
don't
think
know. It's an interesting
I
division.
feel like it's Atlanta, Miami, and then everybody else. I don't think Charlotte. And
Maybe.
I'm gonna go hot taking here. I don't think Charlotte is that far in front of Washington. I think
Well,
you're really really low on the Wizards. I I think you're really low on the Wizards.
they've got the depth. There's just all they have is Bradley Beal. Porzingis is not good.
I think you're underestimating how
I
good
think
Miles Bridges
Kuzma has
is.
to average. I think Kuzma needs to average like 20. He averaged 17
I
last
I
season.
don't think Kuzma needs to average 20. I don't think I do
And
don't
Bradley
like
Beal is gonna have to average like 30.
like Porzingis averaged 22 in the 17 games he played. Maybe he does fit in just a little bit better
Well,
in
he fits
Washington.
in. No, I'll admit he fits in better here than he did
In
in
Dallas.
Dallas
Oh, oh,
specifically.
absolutely, absolutely. And then you're gonna get Hachimura for the whole year this time. He was out half the year last year. Beal only played 40 games last year, and this team was still 8 games back in the playoffs. Beal plays the whole season. Like this was close to a play. That would have been close to a playoff team last year. I think Bradley Beal is worth 6 or 7 games at least, if not 8
Mhm.
out of 42 that he the 42 that he didn't play. Yeah, I think Beal's worth that.
My thing
I,
is that I think the Eastern Conference is better than last year. I know we say the Western Conference is better, and it is,
it
but the
is.
Eastern Conference also improved. The Knicks will be better next season. I
I
almost can
agree.
guarantee it. The Hawks are gonna be better. James Harden is him. He's back. He's looking very good in the
I
preseason.
feel very, very good. I feel
Toronto
very good
is
about that division.
good. Toronto is good. They may not have a star player that just pops out at you, but Toronto is very good basketball team. Orlando sucks. Miami is good. Boston is clearly good. Milwaukee, if they have Chris Middleton, wins the NBA, maybe wins the NBA
They
championship last
don't
year.
win it, but they win the East last year if Chris
They
Middleton's
win the
healthy.
East easily. Chicago, the moment Lonzo comes back, is
I like
still a
Chicago.
deadly team.
I like Chicago.
Indiana's, yeah, they're not gonna be good, but
Outside of
Cleveland is
Indy,
Cleveland got better, and it's
that
clearly they got
that
better.
division's interesting. That division's going to be interesting. I'm glad
It'll
we
be a
saved that one
fun
for
one to talk about.
last. I'm glad we saved that one for last because I there's a lot that happened in that division in the offseason.
I think Detroit will be better. Brooklyn's gonna be Brooklyn if Kyrie plays all year and Kevin Durant. He's Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant healthy is the best player on this earth. So it comes down to Charlotte, Washington, and Orlando, and the Pacers are the bottom four in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. So we'll see what
Yep.
happens, but it'll be an interesting. I don't even want to say division. I don't think the division will be close, but we'll see what happens, and we'll give you our Southeast predictions right now. If you, I believe I did the last one. I think I did Western Conference
Yeah, I'll
first,
go
so
first. I'll go
you go
first. This
first.
one's easy for me. Atlanta, Miami, Charlotte, Washington, Orlando.
Well, I'm gonna have the one slight difference: Atlanta, Miami, Charlotte, Orlando, then Washington. So, I mean, very similar. Could that be because we're brothers, or is it just the conference or the division itself?
I think it's the
I
division
don't
itself.
know,
I
but
think it's the division itself, but
so we'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting division, I guess. I don't know. It's just I feel like there's gonna be such a big gap in between the top two and the bottom two, and then Charlotte's just gonna be chilling.
yep.
So we'll see what happens. But that'll do it for this episode of the NBA, and we will see you this coming Friday for the next episode. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. And we hope to have you join us next time on the Two Bros Sports Podcast. With that being said, I'm your host, Hunter Smith, and goodbye.